Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 1 minute from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 1 minute time check, stations.
On the Hawkeyes Sports Network, from Learfield, live from View Rooftop at the Hilton Garden Inn in downtown Iowa City. This is Hawk Talk, brought to you by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Your local Ford dealers, Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and Iowa Corn Promotion Board. You may think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. U.S. Bank, proud to support Iowa football. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. Also brought to you by Mid-American Energy. Look up, look out for overhead power lines. Visit midamericanenergy.com for electrical safety tips. By University of Iowa Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. U.S. Cellular, built for the Hawkeyes. Built for silencing notifications and turning up the noise. U.S. Cellular, built for us. Iowa Farm Bureau, who would like to remind you to support America's farmers. Check out americaneedsfarmers.org. And by Authentic Brand, the label you wear makes a difference. Step up your game day looks and everyday style with Authentic Brand. Here is your host, the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another week of Hawk Talk with Iowa football coach Kirk Ferentz. After a road trip to Chicago and a home run, a field goal delivered by Drew Stevens, Hawkeye football returns to its own version of the friendly confines this weekend, Saturday afternoon to be exact, to host the Scarlet Knights, the much improved Scarlet Knights of Rutgers University. The 10-7 victory over Northwestern by Iowa pushed the Hawks ahead of the pack in the Big Ten West Division. Iowa now has a one-game lead again on Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Nebraska, plus owns the tiebreaker with the Badgers. And that's important going forward. The three-week November stretch run to the Big Ten championship game in Indianapolis, that first Saturday night in December, is officially on as we welcome you to Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz, live from View Rooftop Restaurant and Bar. We're sitting on top of the shingles here, on top of the beautiful Hilton Garden Inn with the gorgeous bird's eye view, the panorama of surrounding Iowa City. Of course, it's mostly lights now. The switch back to a standard savings time, why it gets darker earlier, it gets brighter earlier for at least a few weeks. But your table and your bar stool is waiting for you, so please stop by tonight and say hi to the coach. Kirk will be here in about a half an hour or so, shortly after the top of the hour. But for the next 90 minutes, we're talking Hawkeye football, as well as track and field and cross country. Iowa's director of track and field and cross country, Joey Woody, the former NCAA champion in the 400-meter hurdles, a silver medalist at the World Games, four-time All-American, and Iowa City native. Joey will stop by and talk about the enormous success that his teams have had since his arrival about 10 years ago. First as an assistant coach to the Wiz, Larry Wazorek, and then Joey took over as the head coach once Larry decided to retire. We'll visit with Larry about what lies ahead and what's been immediately enjoyed in terms of great successes in the immediate past. View Rooftop is the place to be tonight and really every night if you're talking Hawkeye football or basketball. And the seasons are intertwining now. They're crossing over. Hawkeye basketball last night. Basketball signing day today. Actually, it was signing day for all of the fall and winter sports. And we'll mention some of the names that inked those letters of intent. But you can catch all the Hawkeye latest here at the View Rooftop in the Hilton Garden Inn. They've got it's a great outdoor seating should the weather permit this fall, and we've got some warmer days coming. It's a comfortable contemporary indoor and outdoor venue. Great for watching the Hawkeye games. They have tailgate specials on football Saturdays, including this weekend, as well as live music. Enjoy the camaraderie and celebrate a toast at View Rooftop inside the Hilton Garden Inn here in downtown Iowa City. We're right in the heart of the business district. Please call for reservations. The phone number is 319-519-4650. 319-519-4650. If you'd like to reach us here at View, more importantly, if you'd like to reach the head coach, Kirk Ferentz, I'm on Twitter at Gary Dolphin. Please send your tweets, your questions, or your comments to the coach at Gary Dolphin. Or if you prefer Facebook, Facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. Facebook.com/Voice of the Hawkeyes. Iowa at 7-2, 4-2 in the Big Ten. Rutgers comes to town at 6-3, and 3 wins, 3 defeats in conference play. All you need to know about Rutgers is they are outstanding defensively, very close to Iowa statistically on defense. Rutgers led Ohio State Saturday 9-7 at halftime. Now the Buckeyes, with that phenomenal depth and extreme talent, pulled away in the second half, got a lot of big plays by its defense and won it going away. But it gives you an idea how Rutgers has improved under head coach Greg Shannon, who was there, left for the NFL, and then came back when after Rutgers had joined the Big Ten. The Hawks and the Scarlet Knights have a number of common opponents. Northwestern was Rutgers' opening day foe way back on Labor Day weekend, September 3rd, and Rutgers dominated that game 24-7. Rutgers lost at Wisconsin 24-13. Of course, the Hawks have victories over both. And Iowa beat Michigan State. Rutgers rallied to beat Michigan State 27-24. So a lot of similarities, close games, hard-fought games, a little higher scoring than what Iowa was involved with. But the bottom line is this is probably the best Rutgers defense in some time, and therefore overall perhaps the best Rutgers team we've seen. This will be the 4th meeting all time between Rutgers and the Hawkeyes. Iowa has not lost to Rutgers University from Piscataway. Kirk Ferentz is 1 win away from moving into a tie with Michigan's Bo Schembechler for most overall wins as a member of the Big Ten Conference, and hopefully that happens on Saturday. The Hawkeyes at 7-2 are bowl eligible for the 22nd time in the last 23 seasons under Coach Ferentz. Drew Stevens, got to talk about Drew. Drew's the Big Ten Special Teams Player of the Week for his game-winning kick on Saturday. Should have had one from 54, but the wind gods played with it at Wrigley Field. Nothing new there, and it caromed off the right upright, or the Hawks would have had a little more breathing room at the end. Stevens is the 5th Hawkeye recognized by the conference this season as Player of the Week. The others are defensive back Sebastian Castro and Cooper DeJean, linebacker Nick Jackson, and of course punter Torrey Taylor. And 2 of the best, senior linebacker Jay Higgins announced yesterday or maybe Monday. Jay Higgins is a semifinalist for the Butkus Award, given to the nation's best linebacker, while junior defensive back Cooper DeJean is now a semifinalist for the Jim Thorpe Award. And that goes to the nation's top defensive back. Higgins was also named to the midseason list for the 2023 Rotary Lombardi Award. And he and Cooper are both on midseason All-America teams, so congratulations to all those aforementioned Hawkeyes. Jay Higgins talked about being added to that Butkus semifinalist list.
It means a lot. They had me help present the award to Campbell last year. So I was just there for that moment with him and his family and how much he sacrificed to get to that point. And I remember telling myself, like, I want to do the same thing. And I mean, when you're coached by Coach Wallace, when you play for Coach Parker's defense, I feel like any defense award is a realistic thing to try to get here. And I feel like just the support of my teammates. I talk about how much I love my D-line and how Nick and Kyler Fisher have just been helping me. It makes it a lot easier just to go out there and play football. You focus on football and good things happen.
What a year he's having. And to think that he has just bided his time, kept his mouth shut, went to work every day, worked hard, and we've watched Jay for all 4 years he's been here, the senior from Indianapolis. It is so pleasing to see him enjoy this success this year. And how about him and Nick Jackson, the transfer from Virginia, in tandem? Higgins and Jackson have combined for 185 tackles this season. That's the highest by a Power 5 tandem anywhere in the country. Higgins leads the Big Ten. He ranks second nationally with 12.5 tackles per game. He has 2 15-plus and 7 10-plus tackle games this season. That's 7 double-digit tackle games. And Jackson has 2 10-plus tackle games this season, 22 for his career. Of course, he was all ACC and all academic ACC for 3 consecutive seasons at the University of Virginia. So a lot of good going for the Hawkeye defenders. Offensively, Lady Luck, good fortune finally smiled on Deacon Hill, quarterback Deacon Hill. Kirk Ferentz has been saying now for several weeks the young guy's been improving for not having played at all over the better part of 3.5 seasons. He's been improving, did throw a pick on Saturday. He understands that you got to protect the football, particularly when your offense is struggling to score points. But he made 2 big plays on that, what proved to be the game-winning drive that set up Drew Stevens for a 52-yard field goal with just a few seconds remaining Saturday. And, of course, that 23-yard zipper to Caleb Brown was a thing of beauty. We, from our position behind home plate at Wrigley Field, Eddie and I had a view of that throw from behind. And, man, oh, man, was it a laser. And all Caleb had to do was gather it in. He backpedaled for another 3 or 4 yards, which was important, and that set up Drew Stevens' game-winning field goal for the year. Stevens now 13 of 16 with a long of 52. He's actually, or 53. He's had 53 yards twice now, including last Saturday. And he's a perfect 15 for 15 in points after touchdown. Stevens, the sophomore from North Augusta, South Carolina. And there's Nico Reganey with a big play that kept the drive alive. And here's that pass to Caleb Brown on the far sideline. And Caleb protecting that football. He jumped out of number 3, jumped into number 81 because Cooper DeJean saw the offensive side of the football for a couple plays on Saturday. 1 on a jet sweep that gained 8. He got 6 on another carry. So it's good to throw him a different look every now and then, and perhaps that happens again on Saturday. Okay, we'll step out, take our first break of the night. Again, you can reach us on Twitter at Gary Dolphin or Facebook.com/Voice of the Hawkeyes, Facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. We're at View Rooftop, downtown Iowa City. Kirk Ferentz will be here in a little bit. He'll talk about the Club Car Wash keys to the game, keys to a victory over Rutgers coming up Saturday when Kirk arrives. Bud Light is a proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bud Light. And Pioneer is proud to partner with Iowa and Nebraska in the Pioneer Heroes game on November 24th, honoring local heroes who positively impact the community and stand as an inspiration to others. Pioneer proudly celebrating our local communities. Don't go away. We're back in a minute to View Rooftop. This is Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz from Learfield.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing US Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today?
The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness.
Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to US Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
Ingrid Lizarraga, breast surgeon at the University of Iowa Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center, the state's only NCI-designated cancer center. Here, we look beyond just the type of cancer you have to discover the molecular details of the disease. We have teams dedicated to each cancer type, with treatments and trials you won't find anywhere else in Iowa. Go to uihc.org/cancer.
Running a business is a lot of work. Luckily, I've got a great partner.
Oh, I thank you.
I meant U.S. Bank.
I knew that.
U.S. Bank Business Essentials is a huge help to us.
Totally. Their comprehensive point-of-sale system does it all. Tracks inventory, manages schedules, customizes orders.
Plus, all the regular banking stuff.
If only it could make coffee.
Nah, that's your job.
From point of sale to quick loans, we have many ways to make your business boom. That's what U.S. Bank is for. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender member FDIC.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. While farmers work hard to grow the best crop, their Iowa corn checkoff investments are hard at work too. Opening local and global markets for corn and corn-fed products, educating drivers on unleaded 88 as the best fuel at the pump, finding new uses for corn, and sharing the farmer's story. Iowa corn farmers are backed by researchers, educators, market experts, and more. To keep corn growing Iowa.
Bananas are only 39 cents a pound at Hy-Vee. That's not a sale price. That's the price with the Hy-Vee Perks membership. And 39 cents a pound is not just the price today or this week. It's the Perks price every day. With the Hy-Vee Perks membership, you can save on hundreds of products store-wide every time you shop. And count on Perks prices to stay the same. So if you want to pay less for bananas every day, sign up for Hy-Vee Perks. It's free and easy. Some restrictions apply.
Let's be honest, we all like to be noticed. Picture yourself striding into Kinnick Stadium, radiating both style and comfort, while fellow Hawkeye fans can't help but ask, where'd you get that shirt? With pride, you point to the big screen and reply, it's Authentic Brand. Discover the remarkable difference that apparel with the Authentic Brand label brings. Ask for it by name at your favorite boutique, spirit shop, or retailer, or shop online at authentic-brand.com. It's time for a change in your style. It's time for Authentic Brand.
Welcome back to View Rooftop in downtown Iowa City. Gary Dolphin joined by Kirk Ferentz here shortly. The Hawkeyes hope to be sprinting up and down the sideline in all three phases come Saturday, and we've got one of the world's top sprinters. Well, maybe not today, but he certainly was. Joey Woody, Iowa City's own Joey Woody, prepped at City High.
Yes, sir.
I remember. Joey was, of course, a world-class sprinter, hurdler, the 400. So 400, do I get that right? I mean,
400 hurdles.
They go from yards to meters.
Yes,
I lose track of that. 400-meter hurdler at the University of Northern Iowa, and then found his way to Iowa City as an assistant coach and associate head coach. And then when the Wiz, Larry Wazorek, a longtime track and field coach, decided to hang it up and retire, Joey was only so appropriately elevated to the head spot. And man, what a job he has done, along with a terrific staff. We talked a little cross country here a couple of weeks ago, Coach, with part of your staff. But what strikes me, look at these placings for the men indoors, third place at the Big Ten Championships. Men's outdoor, third place, Big Ten Championships. For the women, third place, Big Ten Championships, and the outdoor, sixth place at the Big Ten Championships. You talk about a great blend there, the mixture of talent, both men and women, indoor and outdoor. It's really been remarkably consistent and successful. And I know I'd ask you what the secrets are, but obviously you got to recruit. But then once you recruit them and get them here, you got to develop them. How have you put all that together?
Well, yeah, like you said, I got a great staff, and I mean, we recruit all across the country. Now we're international. I mean, we've had more international kids on campus than we've ever had, just because the way the landscape of the Big Ten is moving and the landscape of track and field, it's super international, and so you got to get the best kids in the world. So we're very fortunate because we are able to recruit, actively some tremendous athletes all across the country, but we also have great talent here in our state. So we obviously go after the best kids in the state of Iowa too, and develop them like you said. And we got to outcoach people. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. We're not always going to get the best athletes into our program here at Iowa, but we've been very successful because of the type of kids we bring into the program, and they really buy in, and we just outcoach, outwork people, and we've done really well over the last few years. We've had some Big Ten championship teams. The next one is, I think our women's team is on the verge of some big things this year, and you know, we want to bring home a trophy. We've never won on the women's side, and that's a big goal for us.
And it doesn't take much to motivate you, I know, having watched you compete all those many years ago. What is the mix, international to national? I ask every Olympic sport coach this, and, you know, it's close to 50-50 or 40, depending on the size of the roster.
I mean, we haven't been quite that many internationals until recently. We've got a new coach, Coach Frenchy. As you know, he's from France. But he's actually done a great job this year. We've got some great internationals coming in. We just got a couple of freshmen from France that are here right now. They're two of the best jumpers in the world for their age group. We just signed a 7-foot-plus high jumper from Great Britain. And so we've got some really great internationals coming in. But like you said, it's a great mix. We still have our core values of our core unit of our team is our Iowa kids, our Midwest kids. But we recruit all across the country. We've got some great kids from California. There's a little view of our little Mike Stein, jav thrower. This is a kid from Sioux City, Iowa, and he becomes the best kid in the U.S. in the under-20 championships in the javelin. He just picked it up and learned how to throw it, and next thing you know, he's throwing almost 250 feet in the jav. So guys like him showing up, you know, on our campus, I mean, you can't put a number on those type of kids and how much the impact that they've had in our program.
We're looking at Mike Stein. I think I saw Wisdom Williams up there as well. Will Ryan, who's a phenomenal distance runner, showing the video from our friends at KCRG Channel 9.2, who televise our show each and every week. We appreciate Erin Rooney and her staff. Let's talk. You mentioned the international kids. Let's talk about some of the locals. Mike Stein, 3 Hawkeyes medaled at the recent Pan Am under 20 U20 championships in August. And Mike Stein, first he won the men's javelin. He's from you mentioned Sioux City, Spirit Lake, Milford area. Talk about small town Iowa. That's doing well.
We've had a couple kids from there that have done well. One of our former decathletes was All-American from there. Same town. It's crazy.
How about Will Ryan, the third place finisher in the men's 5,000 meters at the Pan Am game? I was watching some video of him the other night on one of the local TV channels. Dowling, young guy from Dowling, Hawkeyes, I think is his home. Yeah.
I mean, he's a kid that just works his tail off, and you know, he just came in, he had the right mindset. It's hard sometimes as a freshman, especially in the distance races, because it just takes time to develop in that event. And he had his mindset on making the Pan Am junior team, and he did it, and then he went down and won a medal. It's pretty cool. Wisdom
Williams, young lady from one of my favorite parts of the country. I'm a big Civil War buff, so Alexandria, Virginia. She was 5th in the shot put, took 2nd at the Pan Am Games. You know, you got to have brute strength for something like that, but it's also a dance. It's artistic.
It is.
And you got to know when to release, when to start. The movement is as important as anything, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And the shot put, women's shot put in the Big Ten is the best in the world. I mean, it's when you look at the type of athletes that it takes to score in our conference. I mean, you basically have to make it to almost to the Olympic level just to score in our conference. That's how tough it is. And for her to come in as a freshman and be able to score points and then obviously do what she did at the Pan Ams is just tremendous. So, you know, she's a great athlete, but even better person. I mean, she's a sweetheart, and we just love having her part of our program.
Try these numbers on listening audience. 23 All-Americans for the Hawkeyes this past year. 11 men, 9 on the women, a couple others. 14 men, 9 women. How much of that talent returns this coming season?
We're actually pretty fortunate. It's crazy. We still have some 6-year seniors coming back because of COVID, but we're really fortunate. Obviously, having a guy like Austin West, a local guy from Iowa City West, to be able to return. I mean, this guy finished, 3rd at the NCAA championships last year. Really excited about where he's at in his training. But he's also Big Ten champion in the 400 hurdles. So pretty good combo to have a guy like that in your program. But he's vying for Olympic berth this year in the decathlon. Last year he finished 3rd at the U.S. championships. But he's got his heart set on making that Olympic team this year.
and the Olympics are coming up in 2024. And I was thinking of when I was doing my notes and prep for this today, I couldn't help but think of Lalaga Tasaga a couple times, world champion in the discus. You talk about a personality. What does someone like her do for your program going forward in her travels? And she's a world traveler.
She's as great of an athlete as she is. She's an even better person, and just her charisma. I mean, people just attract to her. I always say she could be a stand-up comedian if she wanted to someday. She's just an amazing person. But yeah, I mean, she came in and immediately people were just attracted to her as a leader in our program and just somebody that they wanted to emulate. But she's the ultimate competitor. I mean, she's probably the best competitor we've ever had in our program in any sport, and so it's just exciting to have, when you have someone like that, it just makes your entire program better.
I don't want to leave without mentioning Peyton Hawk, who produced 2 new school records in the pole vault and heptathlon. Talk about getting it done at both ends. Longevity and pole vaulting, the field events, and heptathlon. I've heard mention that a good heptathlete or a great heptathlete is as good as any athlete in the world.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're pretty fortunate because we had two in the NCAA championships this year, and both of them were local Midwest guys that hadn't done it a whole lot. Obviously, Austin never did it in high school, and both those guys come to Iowa and they just kind of trained side by side and became first-team All-Americans. So pretty awesome to be able to have guys like that. But Peyton was a tremendous competitor, and then being able to do what he did in the pole vault at the NCAA championships, I mean, that's just tremendous.
Joey Woody with us for another minute here on Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz. The coach will be joining us shortly. 13 new school records set in the last year, 23 All-Americans, all of those all Big Ten. And I can't help but think how Larry Wazorek, the Hall of Fame coach, who still lives in this area, brought you in. You guys were a perfect hand-to-glove fit. And, of course, you'd known about Wiz for a lot of years.
Oh, yeah. I mean, anybody that knows Wiz has tremendous respect for him and what he's done as an athlete. Obviously here at Iowa, he's a Hall of Famer, but then obviously as a coach. But he's just a tremendous friend of mine, and I'm just thankful that he took a chance on me, really. I mean, I was still competing post-collegiately, and he took a chance on me, and he gave me an opportunity to really do some amazing things here at Iowa. And since I took over, I think that we've done some great things, but it's all because of what he was able to do to set us up for success. And he's a huge supporter of us. I see him quite a bit, get a chance to catch up with coffee with him once in a while, but we're just thankful we get to honor him with the Larry Wazorek Invitational during our indoor season. So yeah, it's just
when
great
is that, by the way?
So that's actually January 20th weekend is the Larry Wazorek Invitational. We've got 5 home indoor meets this year, and then we'll have the Musco Twilight Championships. As long as the weather's good in April, we'll be hosting that outdoor.
Yeah, you're hoping against hope there. As long as it's good in April. We say that every year.
Right.
But it gets going indoor December 9th, right?
December 9th, yep. We'll be getting it going, and yeah, the kids are on fire. I mean, we've had some great training this fall, and I'm really excited to get started.
I mean, it's worth to visit the rec center just to see that track that you brought in from the World Championships in Portland. Went out and wrote a checkout for it. Well, I'll bet that's helped recruiting.
Oh, it's been, we wouldn't be able to do what we do without having a facility like we do, and especially indoor. So we're really fortunate. Our administration has been huge supporters of our program and what we've been able to go out and get, from that to travel to recruiting. I mean, we're fortunate because a lot of programs can't travel like we do during the spring, but we're able to go down south and do what we need to do to be successful, and I think that's a big reason why we're having a lot of success we're having.
Well, you can work on your tan when you get down there, then, right, Coach?
Right.
Thanks for coming by, Joey. It's great seeing you as always.
Thank you.
Coach Joey Woody, Hawkeye track and field cross-country coach, a world-class athlete in his own right. We're back to View Rooftop in just a minute on Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz from Learfield.
Tractors, you're busier than ever this fall, but you've got this with high-quality building materials from Spahn & Rose like GAF. Use the Spahn & Rose Visualizer to plan the perfect roof and blend an elegant architectural look with exceptional performance. GAF, we protect what matters the most. With several Spahn & Rose locations nearby, you can focus on life's other important things this fall. Spahn & Rose, buy easier, build better.
Whether you're building a backyard fence for your family's new best friend or firing up the excavator for your next commercial project, a free and simple call can save you from expensive fines and even save your life. Call 811 at least 2 days before you start your next project to have underground utility lines located and marked. At Mid-American Energy, your safety is our #1 priority. So, make it your priority to call 811 before you dig. Paid for by the customers of MidAmerican Energy.
Hi, it's your friend, social media. You know, where I showcase the cool life of sports stars and friends. But don't fall for the editing and good lighting, because we all have struggles and challenges, like with alcohol or drug use, gambling, or our mental health. You know, talking about it is a sign of strength. Maybe you don't know who to talk to? Your Life Iowa can give you resources or treatment options. Get free 24/7 confidential support. Call, text, or chat online at yourlifeiowa.org. A message from Iowa HHS.
If you've got the right tools and the friendly people at U.S. Bank in your corner, making smarter money choices is a piece of cake. If only our tools and helpful advisors could have helped you avoid some of those not-so-smart choices in life. Like that time you tried to pick up unicycling.
Whoa, coming through!
Or when you thought it'd be okay to pet that squirrel in the park.
Good squirrel, good squirrel.
While we can't help you with all that, we can help you bank smartly at usbank.com/smarter together. Member FDIC.
Which schools will take home the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup for the 2023-24 college athletics season? You can follow the standings of your favorite school or alma mater at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. That's thedirectorscup.com and L Directors Cup on Twitter. Trophies will be awarded in June 2024 to the winning institutions in all competitive divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
Hello, Hawkeye fans. This is Bruce Gerlman, and I own Jethro's Barbecue. Have you heard the news? It's really big news. Jethro's Barbecue is now open in Coralville. That's right, across from the Hawkeye softball diamonds on the Coralville Strip. Jethro's is your game day headquarters. Call ahead and order your tailgate barbecue from Jethro's. Before the game, during the game, after the game, stop in Jethro's and eat my amazing slow smoked wings and my world famous baby back ribs.
Thanks again to Joey Woody, Iowa's outstanding track and field cross-country coach, world champion in the 400-meter hurdles a few years back as a UNI Panther, and it's great to see Joey again, and he's getting fired up. Remember, their opening indoor meet is December 9th at the Rec Center. There's always quality competition, and, of course, many on that roster from the University of Iowa are Iowa young men and women, so get out and support them. Again, the handles here for Twitter and Facebook. Coach will be here. Coach Ferentz will be here shortly on Twitter at Gary Dolphin or Facebook.com/Voice of the Hawkeyes. And we've got lots to talk about. News coming in as we speak. We'll get to that in a minute, but we're at the top of the hour. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. Station ID break here on the Iowa Hawkeye Radio Network. You're listening to Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz. When you send in your tweet or Facebook post tonight, if we voted a winner, Corey Sheets and I, and Coach Ferentz can have his input as well. But if it's interesting enough to where we feel it's a winner, either on Twitter or Facebook, you could win an authentic brand Hawkeye merchandise pack. You will win an authentic brand Hawkeye merchandise pack, an assorted box of great-looking Hawkeye gear. I'm wearing the pullover tonight, the golf pullover, black and white, plain and simple. Announced just a little bit ago, Iowa defensive lineman Noah Shannon will not play this season. He's been ruled ineligible for this season due to a suspension for his involvement in the NCAA's investigation into sports wagering. After months of twists and turns, there's finally a resolution for Iowa and Shannon. Unfortunately, it's not what we had all hoped for. The NCAA had signaled in recent weeks that it might eliminate suspensions for athletes who wagered on games involving their school as long as an athlete did not bet on his or her own team. But late this afternoon, the NCAA went a different route. And here's from the news release. Effective immediately, reinstatement guidelines for student athletes who wager on teams at their school, excluding their own team, will start at requiring 1 season of ineligibility and a loss of 1 year of eligibility. So that's that effectively ends Noah Shannon's career. I know I was talking to Coach Brands today in wrestling, and he's got I think half a dozen or seven wrestlers who were in a similar boat. 4 of the 7 more serious than the other 3, and it sounds like several of those young men will be effectively ineligible for this coming wrestling season. There are other athletes, other sports involved. We won't go into all of them, but when Coach Ferentz gets here, we'll get a final word on his thoughts, and obviously that's not going to be good where Noah Shannon is concerned. Invite you to stop out at Hudson's Southside Tap this week, especially after the game on Saturday, your Hawkeye Game Day headquarters, where you can savor $6 house Bloody Marys. Catch the Hawkeye Radio Network postgame show right after our home games live with Michelle from Hudson's Southside Tap. Feel the Hawkeye spirit at Hudson's on Highway 1 West in Iowa City. We can almost see Hudson's from here, as a matter of fact. Back to some of the Hawkeye individuals who sparkled last week at Northwestern. How about this young man, Ontario Thompson, from Hempstead High School in Dubuque, who found his way to Iowa Western Community College, a junior college powerhouse out in Council Bluffs. They've won a number of NCAA championships. Ontario left there after 1 year, so he effectively has 3 years of eligibility left with the Hawkeyes, including this year. And he got the big punt block Saturday that led to Iowa's only touchdown.
Well, you know it's going to be a soft point. So really just with my force and just I can't even say the word, but just with my speed and force, I was able to get a hand back there and just get my hand on the ball. Because Coach Woods was really just telling me, he showed me a block punt. I forgot what game it was a couple years back. I forgot doing the exact same thing, pushing the guy back, getting his hand back there. So he just told me to sleep on that, dream about that, and be able to do it in the game.
We had a good view. That was in our end zone at Wrigley Field, and you look at the replay, and Ontario's got those he's got big hands, obviously, and he's wearing a glove on that left hand, and his fingers look like yardsticks. I mean, they are long and obviously strong, and he got a couple knuckles on that ball, and it floated dead after it went upfield for about 15 yards. His second punt block of the year, the first one against, I believe, Western Michigan, rolled out the back of the end zone, was worth 2 points and a safety for the Hawkeyes, and this one led to a play fake and a rollout right by quarterback Deacon Hill, and he found tight end Addison Estrenga in the end zone for Addison's first touchdown of his young career. Addison Estrenga, the true sophomore from Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. Hawkeyes have been calling on those young tight ends early and often since the injuries to Luke Lachey and to Eric All. At the time, Iowa's top 2 pass catchers, and we hope that at least Luke, there's a shot of Estrenga on KCRG 9.2. Addison Estrenga taking a good shot right at the goal line and got across the chalk for Iowa's lone touchdown, which obviously was big in the Hawkeyes' win. I was looking at the numbers. Estrenga now has 3 catches on the year, his first touchdown. Steve Stylianos has 5 catches. Johnny Pascuzzi has come on since being called on for more snaps. Zach Ortworth, a true freshman from St. Louis, and Cale Vanderbush, a redshirt freshman from Plainfield, Indiana, have both seen snaps. So there's 1, 2, 3. There's 5 tight ends minus Luke Lachey. And his backup or the other starting tight end, Eric All. So that position is going to be deep for a long time. In fact, Estrenga talked about Luke Lachey and what an influence he has been on his development as a tight end, as a young tight end, and sooner or later the heir apparent.
Yeah, he's been unbelievable. Just having him, I've been with him for 2 years now, so I've learned a lot of my game from him, and it's just nice having him being there for us and coaching and looking at every little thing possible.
Yeah, Luke, well, his dad was a great player at Ohio State and in the pros, and Luke Lachey, when his professional days are over with after he leaves Iowa, he too could be a coach. Addison Estrenga, he's still developing. 6'4", 255 pounds. He is a prototypical size tight end for the University of Iowa. Another question I want to ask Coach is, The Hawks lost at one time 3 offensive linemen who were sidelined in Saturday's game at Evanston or at Wrigley Field. Logan Jones, the starting center, went out. He later had a boot on a foot. Nick DeYoung was moving around after Mason Richmond got hurt. Nick flipped out from guard to tackle. Bo Stevens came in reserve of one of the guard spots, and his left knee gave way as he was trying to perform a seal block. And when the Hawks were backed up on their own goal line in that second half, and Bo was carted off the field on a golf cart, and hopefully that's a momentary thing, and he'll be back. But now that offensive line, I mean, this offense can hardly withstand much more from an injury perspective, given the fact that starting quarterback Cade McNamara is out for the rest of the year. Now Cade has announced he will be back. The tight ends we have already talked about, Lachey and Eric All. Running backs, LaShawn Williams and Caleb Johnson missed significant time early in the season, as did Jazz Patterson. Now Williams and Patterson are back. Caleb Johnson did not play Saturday, and all Coach said afterwards was it was a competition thing, and that Caleb could have played, but Jazz and LaShawn, of course, LaShawn went over 1,000 yards rushing for his career. Congratulations to LaShawn Williams, who was the workhorse, 80 yards rushing on a bunch of carries in that game at Northwestern. Let me get my numbers right here. Williams rushed for over 1,000 now for his career. Just the 52nd player in program history to reach that milestone. And in the end, he ended up with, I think it was 79 net yards rushing. He needed 47 coming in. So congratulations to LaShawn Williams. And how about the fact he did it in his hometown, Chicago, Richards High School. So the 208-pound junior should be extra pumped this week. He's got a 5.5-yard average per carry. LaShawn Williams has been getting it done. And Jazz Patterson, he's gaining momentum. He's gaining steam. He's gaining ground. He's got 25 carries now on the year and a 4.5-yard average. So as usual, that Iowa running back position is healthy if they can stay healthy. We're at View Rooftop atop the Hilton Garden Inn in downtown Iowa City for Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz. And Hawk fans, you can drive your team to a win this season by filling up with unleaded 88 with quick rewards at any Quick-Star location. Fuel up with 8 gallons or more of unleaded 88, and you'll be automatically entered for a chance to win great prize packages throughout the season. Quick-Star, proud partner of Hawkeye football. We'll step out, take a break. Coach has arrived. Coach Ferentz will join us next on Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz from Learfield.
Hi, this is Hawkeye coach Kirk Ferentz. My players know that success is not a given. There will be challenges, but with hard work, there are no limits. For years, Iowa farmers have believed in that too. Farmers are the backbone of this country, and their dedication to bringing us food and energy has never been more important. That's why we're proud to wear the America Needs Farmers logo on our helmets. Join the Hawkeyes and the Iowa Farm Bureau as we celebrate America's farmers. To learn more about ANF and pick up some great ANF merchandise, visit americaneedsfarmers.org.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
Whether you're building a backyard fence for your family's new best friend or firing up the excavator for your next commercial project, a free and simple call can save you from expensive fines and even save your life. Call 811 at least 2 days before you start your next project to have underground utility lines located and marked. At Mid-American Energy, your safety is our #1 priority. So, make it your priority to call 811 before you dig. Paid for by the customers of Mid-American Energy.
When it comes to your health, you need the full picture. That means the right diagnosis and the right treatment right from the start. I'm Aaron Bose, pediatric neurologist with University of Iowa Healthcare. Here, we're working together every day to advance medicine so you can get the best care. With more research, more clinical trials, and more treatment options than anywhere else in the state, the University of Iowa Healthcare is changing medicine and changing lives. Learn more at uihc.org.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. While farmers work hard to grow the best crop, their Iowa corn checkoff investments are hard at work too. Opening local and global markets for corn and corn-fed products, educating drivers on unleaded 88 as the best fuel at the pump, finding new uses for corn, and sharing the farmer's story. Iowa corn farmers are backed by researchers, educators, market experts, and more. To keep corn growing Iowa.
Coach Ferentz is in the house here at View Rooftop and the Hilton Garden Inn. Always great to talk to you after a victory. I know you're in a much better mood, but soured somewhat today by the late afternoon announcement on Noah Shannon that his eligibility is effectively exhausted.
Yeah, I literally found out probably about 7-8 minutes before our team meeting tonight, and then Noah walked in literally 2 minutes afterwards. So, yeah, it's really disappointing on a couple levels. And first of all, just the humanistic part of it is probably the most disturbing. But
yeah,
excuse me. I think my takeaway on this whole thing is that I've long thought the NCAA is just a very big, cumbersome organization that really has a hard time reacting to anything in real time and really keeping up with what is going on. And that's really evident in our sport. Our sport has changed so much in the last, 10 years, I would say. And as it pertains to this topic, I mean, I learned a lot here since May 1st because I never really paid attention to gambling, the industry, the legality of it, the access, all those things that, now that I'm tuned in, I mean, it's in your face all the time, every TV broadcast. I mean, the whole 9 yards in these commercials. If you think you have a gambling problem, call 1-800, all that stuff. So, our world has changed so much, and I don't think they're taking that into account, me personally. He didn't commit a crime, didn't bet on an Iowa football game. So punishment, yes, and he's been very straightforward with his remarks. As far as I know, very cooperative with everybody that spoke with him, and I don't know what else you can do. So it seems like it's really a very dramatic penalty for something that I'll predict in 2 years from now it's going to be looked at pretty much as, not that big a deal. But, let me rephrase that one. I'm saying 2 years, maybe 5 with this organization, but it just, it's really sad. So the bottom line is Noah's affected, and I know a lot of our athletes are too, and we're the only state being affected by this. So just not to take those things in consideration, it just seems like it's a little bit callous and then I think really extreme in terms of the punishment. So it's kind of a rigid process, and I know rules are rules and all that kind of stuff, but our environment has changed so much, and I think we work with young people. The world they live in is very different than it was 5 years ago. And not to take that in consideration, I think just seems, to me, it was a little bit of a, short-change deal. So, but it's history now, and we'll move forward, and Noah will move forward. He's a great young guy. He is still part of our team. I have such great respect for him. He's a really good football player, but more importantly, he's a great kid, and he's done everything he could to get back and ready. And so I just, my first thoughts are with him and his family. It's just very disappointing. But, life goes on. And, it won't be the first bucket of crap he's got to deal with, and he'll have more coming down the road, I'm sure. So just like life. So you deal with it and you push forward.
Well, we wish him the best. I've learned that Iowa is the epicenter of the gaming industry. I always thought it was Las Vegas.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
But apparently the state of Iowa, since it's the only investigative process took place inherent in Ames.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's just athletes too. Not as far as I know. I don't think it's other students. So I don't know if they were targeted or not, and if they were, I don't know why they would have been. But those are questions for a different day. Right now we got to deal with Rutgers, but it's. Yeah, there's a lot of curiosity about this whole thing, and just it's disappointing about the outcome, quite frankly. So, I haven't gotten in trouble on the topic yet, so I might as well keep talking. But, the bigger picture, the most important thing is it's a really sad outcome for Noah, and I know he's not the only athlete affected by this, so I feel bad for those guys, and I don't know how close or how similar their cases are to his, but I know about his a little bit, and it's disappointing.
We wish Noah all the best, Coach. Let's rock and roll into the Club Car Wash keys to the game. Each week, Kirk talks about this week's opponent, courtesy of Club Car Wash. Unlimited membership starting at just $20 a month. There's no better time to join the club with winter coming. Keep that salt and grime and snow off your vehicle. Visit clubcarwash.com and find a location nearest you. Here's Greg Shannon, who I know you know well, 6-3. His Scarlet Knights are level 500 in the Big Ten. They've got the top #1 running back in the league, almost 1,000 yards this season for Kyle Monangai. He's averaging well over 5 yards a carry. Gavin Wimsatt is a transfer quarterback. He's a solid veteran. They've got receivers. They got a big offensive line. But this might be Rutgers' best team since the Hawks started playing them, or at least since their entry into the Big Ten.
Yeah, I don't have a knowledge base to speak intelligently about what they were in the 2000s, but Greg went there 2001, I believe, and was there for about a decade and built them into a really good program. I'll put this in perspective. Okay, when I was in college, we played Rutgers. We always lost, but we played them, and that's not saying a lot. Okay, that's not a lot to be proud of. You played UConn. And I don't mean that in any offensive way towards UConn now. I'm talking about when I was there.
Sure.
We were not, real good. So, and now they're a big-time program, Big Ten program. He did a great job. I believe they're in the Big East at that time. If you follow college football, I probably remember them beating Louisville. I think it was on a Thursday night game. Great environment and a big win. Louisville was a top 5 team at that point. I remember first-round draft pick, quarterback, all that stuff. So, they built it then, and then he was gone for about a decade, something like that, and has been back. And I do know Greg. I'm saying we're close personal friends, but we know each other and have known each other probably for 28 years, and I certainly know of his work and his career and have nothing but the total respect for him as a person. Same thing as a coach. He's a really good coach. He did a great job then. He's doing the same thing now. It's kind of interesting. Probably the easiest way I can put it, and I said this yesterday, is that, and told our team Monday, and we played them, whatever it was, 14 months ago. It's night and day difference between the team we played 14 months ago, and that was the first game in Big Ten play a year ago for them, for us. And now we're 9 games into it here this year. So that's a lot of football between now and then. A lot of the same players, but they're a lot better than they were. It's very clear. Coach Shannon's got a program. He's got a vision, and they've got a really good football team. They're playing really well. In all phases, all 3 phases. That's not a surprise. And, you watch them on film, and it's a team that you've got to beat. They're not going to help you at all. They're really sound, well coached, and the running back's outstanding. Arguably in the top 2 or 3 in the Big Ten. I guess he's second statistically, and the quarterback can run and throw. So I'm not saying he's another running back, but he might as well be. Had an 80-yarder against Indiana, I believe it was, and he's a tough guy to get out. They got 3 senior receivers, I think, big offensive line, physical. They do what they do, and they do it well, and they're playing a really good team defense, and that's no surprise. That's Greg's specialty.
We'll talk more about the defense in a minute. I want to go back to Gavin Wimsatt, their quarterback. That's a position at Rutgers that has been unsettled, to say the least, for a number of years. And he came in, he had some injuries when he first got there, but he really has settled down. I mean, his numbers, he's only completing 50% of his passes, but he has been a stabilizing force at that position.
Yeah, we saw him earlier in the season getting ready for Wisconsin. They had played, I think, the week before. And, he's clearly their leader, not only their quarterback, but their leader. He's playing very, very well. And you're right earlier that that was something they were trying to get comfortable and get the right guy in there, and they've certainly done that. And he's playing really well for him. So as a result, they're playing good team football.
Coach, their numbers defensively rival the Hawkeyes. I mean, they've been very, very good, especially in conference play. And where does it start with the defense?
Yeah, I think it's all over, really. Both corners are veteran guys. They were there last year, and they lost a really good safety. Number 0 was a good player. I think he's with Tampa Bay. He made an NFL team. He's a good player. But they're solid up front. Really do a good job. They're look kind of like us. Look a lot like Minnesota. A lot of parallels. There's some cross pollination there. But to your point, they're a team that's got a system. They play it well. They got a little intricate change-ups off of it and things that get you trouble, so you can't just settle in. And but the biggest thing is they're really fundamentally sound. They play hard. They don't make dumb plays or give easy plays up. And so that's I think the secret of good defense. And then they're fundamentally sound. They'll tackle, pursuit of the ball, all the things that good defenses are supposed to do. They actually do them.
They're averaging, or they're giving up 18 points a game. The Hawks are giving up 14 in the running game. Opponents against Iowa. Iowa's given up 120 yards rushing. They give up almost 123. Passing 160 allowed, 177 by Iowa, 160 allowed by Rutgers. So it's give and take in all the key statistical categories.
Yep. They're like I say, you watch them and they've got a really well coached football team, and that's. Yeah, it sounds like, mundane and basic, but it's easier said than done. A lot of people talk about it, but then getting it to show up on film is a different story, and they do that. And again, it's I think my perspective is you look at it over time, you can just see each step along the way. It starts with recruiting, and they recruit really well and really hard. And then it's about developing the players when they get in the program, and they've done both of those things really well. They've got a good coaching staff, and in fact, Pat Flaherty's on their staff as their full-time line coach now. Yeah, so they've got a bunch of guys that know what they're doing, and it shows up on tape.
Pat's been coaching a long time.
Sure has, yep.
He was in on the ground floor with you and the original coaching staff. It'll be fun to see Pat. Coach, with everything, back to last week, with everything that bubbled up last week, from Noah Shannon to Brian's situation to the setup at Wrigley Field with both teams on the same sideline, and thankfully that, for the most part, worked out fine to the field uprooted on the goal line. You've got to be so doggone proud of the way your team gutted out that victory against Northwestern.
Yeah, I mean, that had to be a great novelty event for our fans being in Wrigley. I thought, that part's cool if you let yourself think about it, but we were more concerned about the game for obvious reasons. And afterwards, it was cool to walk out there. The lights were on. I guess our kids were taking pictures and all that stuff they do. So it's all good. I'm glad we got out of there without anybody being in danger physically. Those walls were a little tight. I was a little bit uncomfortable about that, and I want to give the officials credit, too. They did a great job of making substitutions and all that. That could have been a really disruptive and game-changing experience. I thought the officials did a great job just using good common sense, and compliments to our opponents too. I mean, we all wanted to make it a football game, not a, make that be a
circus.
Yeah, exactly. So that part's good, but yeah, really proud of our team because we got a lot going on, and that seems like that just continues. So a lot going on outside, but. The great thing about sports, quite frankly, and when you're in season, it's the best time of year because you can just kind of bunker in and just think about what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish. And there's always circumstances, starting with injuries, anything like that. That's just part of football. So, you see where you're at, you assess your position, and then you try to figure out, how can we find a way to have a successful outcome here by the end of the week. And can't say enough about our guys last week. They were really resilient. We had it, we needed it. Even football game through the first 30 minutes, and then, we got a 3-and-out, got the block punt, tip punt, and then put the ball right in the end zone instead of a field goal, put it in, so 7-0, great goal line stand, unbelievable, and then, tremendous 2-minute execution on top of it. So a lot of positives there, but the biggest thing I think is just really proud of the resiliency of our players, and it's fun to watch them with each week. They're just kind of growing a little closer together. You don't make a goal line stand like that if all 11 guys really don't care, and those are the fun parts about things. So we'll see what we can do moving forward. But it's been really fun to be around these guys, watch them work, and just watch how they interact with each other and care about each other. And that's what you hope a team will do as the season goes on, really grow to be a little closer. And that's worth points if you can get that going.
That goal line stand was a small sample size of how well all 8-9 guys who were rotating in that defensive front really owned the day.
Yeah, they really played well, and we're going to need that, and that's where our strength is right now. It's on defense, it's in special teams. So you got to play to your strengths, and that's different each and every year. So, we're 9 games into it now. We kind of know who we are, what we are, and everybody everybody's obligation is to try to improve and move forward. I think everybody's working hard on that. But at this point, we all know where we're at, and Torrey didn't have his best day. But I reminded him yesterday, I haven't seen him have a bad practice yet. He has just had an outstanding year on the practice field, and he's performed extremely well. For him, that wasn't his standard last week, but there's no question that coming down the home stretch, he'll be one of our key players. And can't say enough about the growth and development he's made over 4 years. He's just and when you talk about all these guys individually, what they're doing, Jay Higgins right on through. Coaching and structure is part of it, but the biggest part is the individual, the way they work at it, and their level of commitment, their seriousness, their focus. And Torrey was just a guy happy to be here 4 years ago, and now he's one heck of a football player. He has really just done a great job. In all the areas, the things that you don't see on a daily basis, but they show up on the field when he's performing.
He's got to be great in the locker room, too, just as a personality and a stabilizing force. No question. Yep. Thanks to Club Car Wash, they bring you Kirk's keys to the game each and every week, either the game this week or the game in review from a week ago. We'll take a break, come back to View Rooftop in just a minute. We'll go right to Twitter and Facebook when we return here on Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz from Learfield.
Hi, this is Hawkeye coach Kirk Ferentz. My players know that success is not a given. There will be challenges, but with hard work, there are no limits. For years, Iowa farmers have believed in that too. Farmers are the backbone of this country, and their dedication to bringing us food and energy has never been more important. That's why we're proud to wear the America Needs Farmers logo on our helmets. Join the Hawkeyes and the Iowa Farm Bureau as we celebrate America's farmers. To learn more about ANF and pick up some great ANF merchandise, visit americaneedsfarmers.org.
Whether you're building a backyard fence for your family's new best friend or firing up the excavator for your next commercial project, a free and simple call can save you from expensive fines and even save your life. Call 811 at least 2 days before you start your next project to have underground utility lines located and marked. At Mid-American Energy, your safety is our #1 priority. So, make it your priority to call 811 before you dig. Paid for by the customers of Mid-American Energy.
Running a business is a lot of work. Luckily, I've got a great partner.
Oh, I thank you.
I meant U.S. Bank.
I knew that.
U.S. Bank Business Essentials is a huge help to us.
Totally. Their comprehensive point-of-sale system does it all. Tracks inventory, manages schedules, customizes orders.
Plus all the regular banking stuff.
If only it could make coffee.
Nah, that's your job.
From point of sale to quick loans, we have many ways to make your business boom. That's what U.S. Bank is for. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
I'm Ingrid Lizarraga, breast surgeon at the University of Iowa Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center, the state's only NCI-designated cancer center. Here, we look beyond just the type of cancer you have to discover the molecular details of the disease. We have teams dedicated to each cancer type, with treatments and trials you won't find anywhere else in Iowa. Go to uihc.org/cancer.
Hey, it's your friend, social media. You know, where I showcase the cool life of sports stars and friends. But don't fall for the editing and good lighting, because we all have struggles and challenges, like with alcohol or drug use, gambling, or our mental health. Talking about it is a sign of strength. Maybe you don't know who to talk to. Your Life Iowa can give you resources or treatment options. Get free 24/7 confidential support. Call, text, or chat online at yourlifeiowa.org. A message from Iowa HHS.
Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz live from View Rooftop. Come on down if you're not going to the game. If you're not fortunate enough to have a ticket to the game on Saturday to Kinnick, come on down to View Rooftop. They'd love to host you for Bloody Marys, your favorite beverages, a nice toasty atmosphere here, and plenty of flat screens to go around. As our proud sponsor, U.S. Cellular is built for the Hawkeyes. They're built for great interceptions and better reception, watching touchdowns instead of touch screens, and waving before streaming. After all, game day only comes once a week. U.S. Cellular, built for us. All right, Kirk, let's go to our friends on Twitter and Facebook. Craig, on Twitter, Coach, what is the perceived advantage for teams, not Iowa, to snap the ball using clapping? You see that a lot, quarterbacks. It's
the new, just a new way to do things. And the no-huddle offense, and they get the fake clap and all that stuff, which I think is a little bit controversial, quite frankly. You can't, make a false movement as an offensive player typically, but they do allow a fake clap, which is, I guess, the equivalent of a hard count. Okay. In the clapping world, if you will. And then you're not even allowed to clap on the sideline where a defensive player can't clap, which, again, it just seems kind of weird to me. I guess maybe it's because I'm over 50. And, it's a different deal. But, yeah, it's a way people communicate now, a way they, get the cadence done. And, it's an interesting world, a really interesting world.
Another piece of the puzzle from the NFL.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Two are sliding together. Thank you, Craig. Adam, Coach, the schedule's so tight from week to week. You get done with one opponent. How long does it take you to formulate the next game plan for this Saturday, as an example? Thanks, and go Hawks. Thank you, Adam.
Yeah, good question. And we changed our schedule back after the 14th season. We really weren't happy with the way things were going. So that's when we shifted over to a Monday. We used to take Mondays off. Everybody in college football has to take a day off, NFL as well. So traditionally it's a Sunday or Monday. That's what everybody does. We decided after 14 to shift to Thursdays, which is I think a big advantage for our players. At 10:30 this morning, 10:15, we were done practicing. They have now until game time to really, recover and rest. And, I think it's a really good recovery period for our guys. But the pressure is getting the plan ready, which means on Sunday, we're working. It's a long day. You have to put yesterday's game, study it, correct it, address it with the team, and then we move on to the game plan for the next part. So relative to what it used to be, we didn't used to start game plan officially, as a meeting until probably 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock on Monday afternoon. Now you're on the practice field that morning. So long story short, it really pushes the front end. And to answer your question in full, really it's about tonight is when things, when you walk out of the office tonight, things are pretty well, at least they're pretty well set. And we have tomorrow off, so that's a really nice day for us to logically, methodically go back through and make sure what we thought was a good idea Sunday, Monday, Tuesday really is, in fact, a good idea moving forward. And, I think that's one of the benefits of it all. It just gives you a chance to really review and think about things in a non-emotional way and make sure, what you, in fact, do take into Friday is what you want to be doing. So, long story short, it really, you're tired by the time you leave the building on Wednesday. But, just like the players, we have a little chance to catch up now, too. So, it's all at the front. It's front-loaded as opposed to, more spread out.
Well, it's good to be instinctive. Go with your first thoughts, your first instincts, but then reinforce it to your point tonight, tomorrow.
One takeaway I had in the NFL when we play a Thursday game, the benefit of that, it's a little bit like our Black Friday game, but the benefit of a Thursday game is you play Sunday and you play Thursday. That's a real quick turnaround.
That is.
So, you got to get to work the next day on the next plan, and you kind of go to what you do. Like, instead of having great ideas and coming up with all these things that never end up really materializing the way you want, you really go to what you do, and you kind of trim it down. You really get to the basics and don't get too smart. And I think there's a lot of benefit in that sometimes. So, not that that's the same exactly, but I think there is some of that carryover to this mode of operation.
Thanks for the question, Adam. Let's go to Facebook for one, Coach. Brant says, what do you do after games on Saturdays to transition to the next, it's basically the same question, next week's opponent? Personally, Coach, and team perspective, too. Let's go from a personal perspective. And if you take last week, I know you have a wild social life, you and Mary, but when you got home from Northwestern, which, midnight, 1 o'clock last Saturday, you'd like to just sleep in. in on Sunday, but you can't afford that, can you? You don't have that available. You don't have that opportunity.
That's why I'm laughing. I mean, it seems like our standard kickoff time this year is in the 2:30, 3 o'clock slot. Used to be 11, so it just seems like the way it's going now. And home games, at least it's the night off. You get home at 8, but now with these away games, it's like you're saying, it's late at night, and it's pretty quiet when you get home. And if you play a night game, forget about it, especially if it's on the road. So that's college football. It just is. So there's not a lot of time. But yeah, like this weekend, I'll be home 7, 8 o'clock, and I just like to be home. I like to be. My family will be there, like my wife. I guess that's all I got left. But maybe our daughter might be in from Des Moines, that type of thing, with her son, and maybe some family members or anybody that's in from out of town. But it's it's a pretty quiet night. I'm not really very, very interested in doing anything else, and if it's the right people there, love to see them. But otherwise, just kind of like a quiet night, and just get ready for the next day.
Yeah, you're pretty well exhausted from a long weekend, especially on game day. But it's nice to put the slippers on and kick back on the couch and see who else is beating each other up, right?
Yeah, sort of. It's kind of.
You don't even watch football when you get home?
Not really. It's just see a lot during the week, so it's just like we might have it on to kind of half watch what the scores are, but
background music.
I just just like to kind of zone out a little bit.
I like the way you talk. Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz is sponsored by Iowa Corn and the Iowa Corn Cyhawk Series, promoting honest, hard-working values that are uniquely Iowan. Iowa's corn farmers salute all athletes for their hard work and determination to be the best both on and off the field. Just like top athletes, Iowa's farmers lead the nation in corn and ethanol production. Follow Iowa Corn on Facebook and learn how corn grows Iowa. We'll go back to Twitter and Facebook next on Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz from View Rooftop, courtesy of Learfield.
When it comes to your health, you need the full picture. That means the right diagnosis and the right treatment right from the start. I'm Aaron Bowes, pediatric neurologist with University of Iowa Healthcare. Here, we're working together every day to advance medicine so you can get the best care. With more research, more clinical trials, and more treatment options than anywhere else in the state, the University of Iowa Healthcare is changing medicine and changing lives. Learn more at uihc.org.
Contractors, you're busier than ever this fall, but you've got this with high-quality building materials from Spahn & Rose, like GAF. Use the Spahn & Rose Visualizer to plan the perfect roof and blend an elegant architectural look with exceptional performance. GAF, we protect what matters the most. With several Spahn & Rose locations nearby, you can focus on life's other important things this fall. Spahn & Rose, buy easier, build better.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing US Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today? The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness. Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online and we'll help set your phone to US Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
Whether you're building a backyard fence for your family's new best friend or firing up the excavator for your next commercial project, a free and simple call can save you from expensive fines and even save your life. Call 811 at least 2 days before you start your next project to have underground utility lines located and marked. At Mid-American Energy, your safety is our #1 priority. So, make it your priority to call 811 before you dig. Paid for by the customers of Mid-American Energy.
Hey Hawkeyes, this is Coach Kirk Ferentz. We work hard all year to have the best season possible, just like Iowa's corn farmers do. Please support Iowa's corn farmers by purchasing corn-fed meat, dairy, and eggs. Drink safe water from the tap. and fuel your vehicle with homegrown unleaded 88. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Go Hawks.
Hawkeyes and Rutgers at 2:30 on Saturday afternoon. Podolak and Brooks and Dolphin will greet you at 12:30 on the Hawkeye Radio Network from Krause Plaza, waiting for the Hawks to pull up in the buses. Iowa and Rutgers, first place at stake for the Hawkeyes. Of course, Rutgers in the East Division and having a good season as well. Let's go back to Twitter for Coach Ferentz. Sherry says, why doesn't college football install radios in the quarterback's helmet so that plays can be sent in securely? That makes sign stealing impossible. Both MLB and NFL have done so. This has come up before.
That sounds like a common sense question.
It does.
Yeah. So,
I heard one time it would be too expensive. It's just something they could afford it, I would think, now with these new TV contracts.
I gotta say, given the numbers they're throwing around right now, I think it's. I will make a prediction tonight. I assume within the next 2 years that'll be pretty much standard, and there may be people that opt not to. But her points are excellent, and it would solve a lot of problems.
And our producer, Corey, just handed me a note. It is coming in bowl games this year, so it must be a test whether or not it's every bowl game?
I know with the Big Ten, and it's both teams will have to co-sign. They're going to do it, but as I understand it, at least. But it's a start. And I do think that's going to come quickly. It's in the works for obvious reasons. Current events.
Yeah, I agree. Tom, on Facebook at facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks, are we going to ever see the Wildcat formation this year with any of our running backs or with Cooper DeJean? A little bit of a loaded question there.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we still got 3 games, so I'm not sure about that. But, Cooper's, it seems to be a hot topic. And, believe me, we all know he's a great player. Not a good player, a great player. And, maybe one of the best we've ever had in the program, quite frankly. And just does it in such a quiet way. He is just – and to think, 2 years ago he wasn't traveling early in the season. It's pretty impressive, just his rise and what he's done performance-wise. And he's a better kid than he is a football player, which is saying a lot. But, he's so valuable in the roles he's already playing. So we just have to be really careful how we use him, I think. I think it's probably smart. And two of the guys that are most dynamic for us offensively right now are both on the sidelines and both had surgery. So, you got to remember there's some risk and reward here. And, we've already taken some pretty significant hits. So we've got to be really careful about how we use our guys. So, it's part of the thinking as we, it's not like anybody in our building doesn't recognize, his talent. That's not the issue. It's just a matter of what's smart, what's prudent, and what's the risk reward on all this stuff.
What is judicious, indeed. Yeah. Appreciate the questions.
It's kind of the same way. I mean, we could use Micah Hyde in a lot of ways offensively too, and would have made us a little bit better there. But you got to figure out, okay, so what's the downside if we do that? What's the risk? It's for 25 years we've always tried to make sure our special teams and our defense are in a position where we have a chance to win, and then we go from there. And that's been our mode of operation, right, wrong, or indifferent. And I really don't see us changing our path right now.
Wellmark Blue Cross Blue Shield is a proud supporter of Hawkeye football. The exciting moments, proud moments, even the hard moments. Wellmark is here for it all as your healthcare champion, making healthcare more affordable with more choices for care and peace of mind no matter what comes your way. Find the plan right for you at wellmark.com/touchdown. Hawkeye Village will be alive this Saturday. Upgrade game day, folks, with Hawkeye Village. Get your game tickets, pregame extravaganza, all you can eat drinks, and more. Perfect for groups or families, but limited availability this week and next week. That's it for this season. Get your tickets. Visit HawkeyeSports.com and click on the Hawkeye Village link. Join Hawkeye excitement at Hawkeye Village. We're at View Rooftop, located on the 12th floor of the Hilton Garden here in Iowa City, and it features a distinctly modern escape filled with a unique outdoor design. Open all day on Hawkeye football game day with tailgate specials. View Rooftop provides a high-energy, memorable experience with food, music, and fantastic views of the Iowa City skyline. Call 319-519-4650. 319-519-4650. Set up your View rooftop reservation for this weekend or next when Illinois comes calling. One final break to work in tonight. We'll come back with our remaining moments with Coach Ferentz on Hawk Talk from Learfield.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today? The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness. Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Whether you're building a backyard fence for your family's new best friend or firing up the excavator for your next commercial project, a free and simple call can save you from expensive fines and even save your life. Call 811 at least 2 days before you start your next project to have underground utility lines located and marked. At Mid-American Energy, your safety is our #1 priority. So, make it your priority to call 811 before you dig. Paid for by the customers of Mid-American Energy.
Does your company attire make you feel like you're always fourth and long? It's time for a change. Hand the ball off to Authentic Brand and watch your team transform into MVPs. On game days, our team dresses like champions in Authentic Brand. Ensure that your company's reputation remains untarnished by using nothing but the label specifically designed to display your company's identity. Ask your supplier for Authentic Brand products and see for yourself why it's more than just a label. It's a statement.
Are aches, pains, or injuries keeping you on the sidelines? At Athletico, our movement experts are here to help you turn your setbacks into comebacks and create a personalized game plan for your recovery. With no prescription or referral needed, Athletico Physical Therapy is where your comeback story begins. Get started today by scheduling a free assessment at athletico.com. Proud partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz. Wish you guys could all sit in and listen on our conversation during commercial breaks. That's his quality Academy Award winning. Listening to anything Kirk Ferentz has to say, it's well worth it. But we're talking about Rutgers and, you know, the three common opponents this year, and they've all been good games, which makes this one scary and close on Saturday as well. But Iowa and Rutgers have played Michigan State, Wisconsin, and let's see, there's one other one. Northwestern, yeah, right. And they've all been similar scores, but interesting bylines.
I only jumped in on Northwestern because I kind of what I told our team, forget about the first 4 games, and Northwestern is one of those. If you think about what they went through this summer,
Northwestern,
yeah, I mean, you think about what they went through, and they were not. Yeah, they were not very good, quite frankly, at the beginning of the season. I just want to compliment David Braun, the head coach up there. I've got such respect for him. He's brand new last January, came to be the defensive coordinator. Everything blew up, and they took it and threw it to him and said, here, you take it. And the guy's like, he's like 35 years old, just had a baby in camp, or preseason camp. That's bad planning on their part, by the way. But so, I mean, they got all that stuff going on, and they put a team out there, and then
4-4.
The last month, they've been playing really good football.
Yeah.
It's a real credit to his staff, him, and his players. I mean, we have a lot of respect for those guys, and it's he's to be complimented. But yeah, to your point, it's the Michigan State game was a really interesting game. Rutgers was down 24-6, came back and won it in the fourth quarter, 21 unanswered points, kind of like Northwestern against Minnesota. And then the Indiana game, it was close at halftime, 3 points at halftime. They score a third quarter touchdown, and then the quarterback runs an 80-yarder opening possession fourth quarter. So, yeah, you're in the Big Ten right now. You're in November. It's going to be a lot of close games, a lot of elbows, and just tight everybody fighting for whatever. A lot of upsets last week, quote unquote upsets last weekend, and we're going to see more of them this weekend. So it's just it's nitty-gritty time right now.
It's the wacky West. Illinois, Minnesota last week, another example. And that's what we were laughing about. It's going to be this way from here on out. By the way, Adam wins our Authentic Brand Hawk Talk question or comment of the night for his inquiry about how do you formulate one game plan each week to the next. And it's a tight window, no question. Authentic Brand Attire, it's the brand we trust for premium game day looks and everyday styles. Whether you're in search of top-notch company-branded merchandise or apparel that proudly showcases your Hawkeye pride, ask your supplier or local retailer for Authentic Brand by name. Log on to authentic-brand.com. Clark Perry and the crew out in Clark Fessler and the crew out in Perry. It's a great Iowa company in Perry. Hello to everybody in central Iowa. And as we talked earlier, the Hawks are bowl eligible. Travel Leaders Destinations Unlimited would like you to hop on the official bowl tour of the Hawkeyes. Proud to announce the Hawks are officially bowl eligible, and Travel Leaders Destinations Unlimited is Iowa's leader for game tickets, air travel, and hotel. Sign up to automatically receive official bowl travel information at HawkeyeSports.com/bowl central. A couple minutes left. Kirk, Zach in Olwine asks, Hawk fans are excited about Cade McNamara announcing his return next year at quarterback. How does that affect your recruiting process significantly, either positive or negative, when you're talking to quarterbacks all the time?
I'm just sitting here thinking we have a guy committed to us. I guess he hasn't signed yet, so I can't say much about it. He's not signed. You got to tell you, this stuff all runs together, the recruiting changes, but he's been committed to us for quite some time. He's doing great, and so I don't anticipate any change at all. Most guys that we recruit don't expect to come in here and be the starter, and so it's right. We got a guy right now playing quarterback who's inexperienced. He's gaining experience each and every day right now, and just really proud of the way he's working at it. And Deacon's making strides. And then two other guys are working daily, and we got a young guy coming in. So I never say never, but we don't foresee any major changes coming up here, and we'll just have more experience, obviously, getting Cade back.
Sam and Ankeny, Coach, with all the teams available to schedule within this new expanded conference next year and beyond, does that mean we will have fewer non-conference contests moving forward?
I don't think so, although I would not rule out the chance of us going to 10 conference games here sooner than later. I think it's a matter of time, me personally, and obviously that squeezes somebody off the schedule. Now you're playing 10 Big Ten games instead of 9, but I imagine that's coming pretty quickly.
Curtis is on Facebook. Are bowl officials, scouts allowed or permitted to meet with coaches, players, or staff when they come to games? I know they're up in the press box for most of the game.
Yeah, I think they just like coming in and kind of getting a feel for the place, and not always, but it's not uncommon for them to stop by afterwards and either on Friday afternoon say hello, or after the game just come down, introduce themselves, and some of them we already know, obviously. So and one neat thing about going to a bowl, you develop relationships with the people that are hosts, and
sure,
some really great people. So it's even we haven't played in San Antonio for like forever, but the guy that runs that bowl is a great guy, and just always good to see him if you see him at a league meeting or something like that.
Indeed, the Outback Bowl knows us well.
Yep.
As most bowls do. One more, Coach. We got about a minute left. Phil on Facebook wants to know why the expansion of the conference next year excludes the separations of divisions, East versus West. Won't that be an extremely crowded conference? Well, yes, it will, but why don't you just take everybody west of the Mississippi and everybody east of the Mississippi and still call it East-West?
No matter what they do, people are going to argue. That's the only. It's like schedules, everybody's getting screwed. Everybody's getting the short end, and I'm, kind of entertained unless I have to sit through a 12-hour meeting with everybody complaining, because it just, it is what it is, and when's anybody ever happy about schedules, right? Unless you play a round robin, then all bets are off. I guess you don't have to have the meeting. So, but it's going to have to be tough to do with however many teams we get in our conference now. What is it, 18 next year?
You know what? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't care.
What is it, 14 now?
14 now. And that's all I know is we got 3 games, so that's all I really care about.
I know I can't count that high, so we'll leave it at that. I do know we're on at 2:30 Saturday.
There you go.
All right. Thanks, Coach. We'll see you then.
Appreciate it.
Coach Ferentz, thank you. View Rooftop. We're back here next Wednesday night. We'll talk Saturday from Kinnick starting at 12:30 here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Good night, everybody.
On the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield, live from View Rooftop at the Hilton Garden Inn in downtown Iowa City. Hawk Talk has been brought to you by Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Your local Ford dealers, Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and Iowa Corn Promotion Board. You may think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. U.S. Bank, proud to support Iowa football. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. Also brought to you by Mid-American Energy. Look up, look out for overhead power lines. Visit midamericanenergy.com for electrical safety tips. By University of Iowa Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. U.S. Cellular, built for the Hawkeyes. Built for silencing notifications and turning up the noise. U.S. Cellular, built for us. Iowa Farm Bureau, who would like to remind you to support America's farmers. Check out americaneedsfarmers.org. And by Authentic Brand, the label you wear makes a difference. Step up your game day looks and everyday style with Authentic Brand. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.